going on, people? Welcome back to Nick J. Francis' channel once again. And Arsenal have just beaten Oxford United 3-0 away from home in the FA Cup. And anyone that knows me and knows Arsenal fans know that we love an FA Cup game. And we love the FA Cup as a tournament. We have won so many FA Cups, even when we were in such a bad run of form in previous seasons. We still managed to get ourselves in and amongst the trophies through the FA Cup. And it was a really good performance. Solid. You know, the second half was obviously a lot better than the first half. But you know, this game was really exciting in terms of seeing players that are on the fringes and seeing how much they can really help us in this sort of title race that people said that we're in. This was, although, you know, it's at Oxford United, no disrespect, we're expected to be Oxford United, especially as a Premier League side. So this was about seeing Nketiah, Viera, some of those fringe players stepping up, seeing if Nketiah can continue on his goal scoring run. We know that Eddie loves a cup goal. That's sort of his niche. And he managed to bag 2 today and was man of the match. Big shouts for man of the match from Fabio Viera as well, who still seems a little bit of a level off Premier League football, certainly in terms of the more physical side of the game and the more physical teams. He seems to struggle against them. But there's positive signs, you know. What makes this Arsenal side under Arteta so different, and not just the side, not just the football, but the club in general, is for so long we used to see it under Wenger. We would complain about certain things with players and we just wouldn't see those things addressed. Whereas with Arteta now, we're all looking at Fabio Viera thinking he's technically good, but he's a little bit weak, he's a little bit lightweight. And Arteta comes out in a press conference and says, actually, we're looking at Fabio Viera, technically he's good, but we're going to work with him in the gym, work on building his strength and physicality. And we're like, thank God for that, you know, because you're actually looking at the problems of the player and addressing those problems. And it seems like a small thing, but it goes a long way in terms of really having players that can actually help us get over the line in the Premier League. 15 minutes of game time for Smith Rowe as well. You know, we all love Emil Smith Rowe, Hale End, you know, academy graduate. And it's just so positive to see this guy back. His first football since September. And he's such a good player. He can help us so much. Whether we go for the title or not, he can help us with his versatility. Obviously, he can play in the 10, he can play in the 8, or he can play out wide. And he just gives us a little bit of everything. And with games coming up against Tottenham, Man United, we need as much of this squad available as possible. So very good news, very positive. Like I say, seeing Nketiah continue his goal scoring run, which is really important to us while Gabby Jesus is out injured, and seeing Fabio Viera come and put in borderline man of the match performances as well. Do you know what I mean? Strange to see Saka and Nketiah Saka and Martinelli starting this game, but you know, Arteta wants to win trophies. You know, he wants to send out a signal that, okay, we're playing a slightly weakened midfield, but we are going to play our main stars in this game and try and win the game. And ultimately, that's what we did. A goal for Mohamed Elneny as well, who is the consummate professional. Every team needs a Mohamed Elneny. He's our Nacho Monreal. He's not going to start. He's going to hold the bench. But whenever he plays, he's going to give his heart. He's going to give everything. Technically, he's not the best, but you know, he does what the club needs him to do. And whenever he steps up, you know, you know, these games are just made for someone like Elneny. And so to see him get on the score sheet, you know, we know that he's capable of scoring goals, even though he doesn't score many. He's definitely got it in his locker to go and score goals. So really happy for him, and happy for the club in general. You know, we've got big games coming up. You know, every run of games we go on, people say, this is the test, this is the test, this is the test. But, you know, Tottenham and Man United, back-to-back top 6 clashes, that really is the test, you know, and that's going to be the warm-up for the final boss, which is the Man City game. But I think, you know, Man City look human, you know, they're still an amazing team. They're still very good, but they do look human. You know, in years gone by, we would look at Man City and think, you know, we just can't touch these guys. We can't get near them. 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. And it could have been more if they didn't take their foot off the gas. This season, we can go into most games, so long as we've got a fully fit squad, we can go into most games really confident. We've got Man City again in the FA Cup. That was announced before this game. We know that we go into the 4th round against City. That'll be a big test as well. It'll be really interesting to see what Arteta and Pep do, especially if we're in something of a title run against each other. We'll be in a cup run against each other as well. And this is what the club needs. You know, we need to be pushed all the way. Going into next season, we will have Champions League football, and we need to be signing players that are going to help us compete at the top level for Premier Leagues, Champions Leagues, and obviously things like FA Cups as well, which we always go on to win. We have a really good record against Man City in the FA Cup, so hopefully that goes in our favour. Like I say, even in the years when we were a weaker side, when Arteta first came in and all that good stuff, you know, we managed to get past Man City in cup semi-finals and finals. Anything can happen on a cup final, semi-final day. So I hope that we can get by them. But the league is about the consistency. And that's what we're seeing, consistency from this team. The most exciting thing about this team for me, I know it was 0-0 against Newcastle, but once we get scoring, we tend to score 2s, 3s, 4s. And other than that United game when we lost 3-1 and we kind of fell apart a little bit, every other game, if we concede 1, that tends to be it. Brighton, we conceded 2, but we scored 4. You know, we tend to really, it sounds stupid, but it sounds obvious, but we tend to really outscore our opponent. You know, it tends not to be 1-0 one way or 1-0 the other way. We really go out and dominate them. So having Smith Rowe come back in, who has goals in him, having someone like Mudryk apparently in the later stages of this deal when Arsenal want to get it over the line and just going back and forth on a fee and all this kind of stuff, you know, adding more goal scorers to this team can only be a good thing. And then having someone like Nketiah come in, I think 4 goals in 3 starts, 2-2 in the league and 2-1 in the FA Cup, so 4 goals in 3 starts. I know it's Oxford United, but still, that's going to do so much for his confidence because we're going up against Spurs. Spurs are struggling at the moment, but a very defensive team with a very competent manager in Antonio Conte. We have to take them seriously. But those are the games that are going to bring, you know, if Eddie wants to carve out a role as the starting guy and start to really nudge Gabby Jesus out the way, games against City, Tottenham, Manchester United, these are the games where you're going to be able to do that, to hold the ball up against, you know, he's going to be up against Varane and Martinez in that game. So to be able to hold the ball up against these guys, these are World Cup winners, both of them, you know, to go and play against World Cup winning centre-backs and put in a shift, be physical, challenge them, push them all the way, that's going to really be defining moments for the future of his Arsenal career. And similar with Spurs, obviously Romero is World Cup winner, Lloris is World Cup winner. You know, they've got great individual players. It's not clicking for them at the moment, but we have to take these games really seriously. But all we can do game by game by game is just keep winning. You know, just keep taking it game by game, one at a time, and beat whoever's in front of us. And that's the mentality that we have to have. We have to really stick to our game and not so much focus on what might have happened in the past or what players they've got and all the rest of it. We just focus on what we do and what we do best, and that's getting on that pitch, moving the ball quickly and creating goals for ourselves. But yeah, you know, it's all positive. There's not a huge amount to say. It's everything seems to be falling into place for us. It really, really does, you know, and I wish so hard that we were doing the documentary this season and not last season, because or the season before last, because what a documentary this would be. I mean, if we did a documentary on this season, it would almost seem fixed. It seems like a bit of a fairy tale at the moment, but we're in the January transfer window. Anything can happen. And we just have, like I say, we have to take it one game at a time and go from there. But like, you know, so long as we can keep winning game by game by game, FA Cup, you know, league games, whatever the case may be, keep winning, keep grinding out results. And when we get into the last final stretch, final 5 games, then we'll start talking about titles and the rest of it. But for now, just take it game by game, you know, and the players are stepping up. Whenever we need someone to step up, they're stepping up. Fabio Viera stepped up today. Nketiah stepped up the last couple games. Even like, you know, we're able to rotate right backs, we're able to rotate left backs. You know, it's just good stuff all around. So nothing to complain about on my end. We just need to get this Mudryk deal done. We've been talking about it for so long. Everybody's talking about it. The player wants to come. You know, it is what it is. We just need to get this fee sorted and over the line. And I don't mind the fact that we're going through such lengthy negotiations, because 100 million euro, 80, 90, you know, when you're buying a player of this sort of fee, you want to absolutely be sure, because there are other talented players that are a fraction of the price, but it's going to put a lot of pressure on Arteta if he insists that this is the player, because why are we going for someone who's young and untested for this type of fee? He's going to have to come in and be ready to hit the ground rolling. You know, for Fabio Viera, any of these players under 30, 40 million pounds or something like that, we can have a little bit of build-up time, but at this level of fee, this guy has to come in and show something immediately. And I hope we get the deal over the line, but I hope he's ready to take that big step up. But that's all I've got time for now. Positives all round. Roll on to the Tottenham game. Anything can happen in a derby. We all know the sayings, but listen, I'm so excited. You know, I'm licking my lips at this fixture and really ready to take it to them. So, peace and love, guys.